Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're jumping back down into the world of Lunar Classic, taking a look at what's been going on most recently, what we would expect to happen next and all that wonderful stuff. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you'll stay up to date with all of the live streams and videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Don't forget though, join us down in Discord. We cover a lot more in the Discord server than we do here on YouTube. Link is in the description down below. Okay, let's get into this, right? So here we have Lunar Classic paired up with BUSD. We're on the 1 hour chart. Binance is our data source. Now, following on from the previous video for Lunar Classic here, we did obviously talk about this low range of 0.00031123 to 33365. There's just too many zeros for me to count here. But yeah, so we basically see this little yellow box range. This is the area that we were expecting Lunar Classic to come down into. Now, as you can see, we did dip down ever so slightly lower. This usually happens from time to time, just with things overextending from what you would typically expect to see. So I like to highlight the typical kind of movements, and we're going to end up somewhere around that zone. So here you can see this is no different to what we would normally expect. We have this little area just coming down here, wicking down a tad lower than our typical kind of moves, basically taking us to 0.00028881. Okay, so we had this pretty interesting kind of area here. Now, of course, we're moving to the upside a little bit. Okay, we can see that we moved up, we moved down, and we're moving back up again. Okay, now our typical kind of three-wave structural moves, let me actually just adjust this back down. I'm actually going to just remove that. We don't really need to see these ones anymore. These are kind of past history, so we'll just go ahead and get rid of those. And we can see this structured move here. We have lots of overlap, so we're not worrying about trends to the downside or anything like that. Okay, so let's now take a look at this three-wave structural move, okay? So here, for the most part, we would expect this to be three waves up at bare minimum. And basically by that, we kind of just pull this over and we can see this area here of 0.00043582. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and just throw a little label on there as well. And it's 82, so I'll just adjust that slightly. Okay, so that there would be our typical kind of three-wave structural move. And it would look like this: A down, up, sorry, B down, and then C up here. Okay, so we'd end up with that kind of structure like so. Now, obviously with this, this is just a typical move, just in the same way that these low areas down here are typical. This doesn't mean that they're guarantees. Now, the minimum expectation for this C wave would have been actually at the exact level of this A wave. Okay, so that would have been set at 0.00038478. Okay, that would have been this key area here. Now, we did wick above this area, but we haven't closed above it on this hourly candle, and that's about to close soon, so we'll keep a close eye on that as we kind of think about pushing back up. But the minimum expectation has already been met, although the typical move is slightly higher at 43582. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the stochastic RSI. Now, the stochastic RSI is an indication as to whether or not there's a lot of strength left in a movement in a direction. It's called a momentum indicator. I like the stochastic because it's more sensitive to price movements than the regular relative strength index. Okay, whereas that's a relative strength index indicator shows us better momentum around a trend than we do in these kind of micro movements. So an RSI is not great at the smaller time frames. Much better to look at the stochastic RSI, which gives us a much better view, specifically if we're going to be doing things like trading and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to reflect the fact that this is nice and high, meaning that we're probably going to see some kind of volatile movement where we correct this stochastic RSI to the oversold area. Okay, just moving it from the top to the bottom. This doesn't mean that we have to have a huge drop in price. It just means that we're going to have to cool off a tad as we kind of see this momentum shift in different directions. Okay, so that's our hourly. Now, when we take a look at the 4 hourly, we actually see this thing lifting up quite nicely. So this indicates that, yes, we have a really good, strong chance at going up to that 0.00043582 and that line that we just marked up. Okay, so the 4 hourly chart is supporting that, but we do need to see some kind of cooling off just a fraction before that happens. Okay, now obviously we're aware that the crypto space has had a bit of a pullback today, and for the most part, yeah, Lunar Classic doesn't really care about it too much, right? This is just give you an idea that actually sometimes there are cryptocurrencies that are kind of following exactly what Bitcoin is doing. And then there's cryptocurrencies like Lunar Classic or Chiliz, for example, that are doing things at a slightly different rate, different path that they might be on, right? And in the case of Lunar Classic here, it was heavily oversold during the pullback that was happening a couple of days ago, that essentially, you know, we can't see this continue move to the downside without having some kind of relief move to the upside. Whereas Bitcoin was actually rallying rallying it up and reached exhaustion within the fifth wave structure, meaning they had to pull to the downside. Okay, so different paths, different journeys. So we can't reflect too much on what's happening with Bitcoin here with Lunar Classic. Okay, they are different structures altogether. So on this 4-hourly chart, we can see progression to the upside. We're not too worried or too concerned about that. On the 8-hourly chart, we've got loads of room to grow. So we're talking about maybe bigger moves to occur in the near future here as we think about where Lunar Classic is heading, right? Where it's going, right? We talk about 1 cent. We talk about that journey up there and how to get there. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight, but we're going to see, a pretty gradual kind of grind as we work our way to the upside. Now, the daily chart is also down in this oversold area. So do expect a little bit more volatility, but essentially this correction is looking like it may have actually now finished, completed, and we're starting to work our way into a better area so that we can progress back to the upside. So ultimately, are we going to be heading up towards this target that we've had mapped out for quite some time, 0.00071958? That is going to be a key area for us because that area there basically marks our area of a third wave, impulsive trigger trending to the upside, right? And this goes way back. If I zoom out, just get rid of the stochastic for a second, it goes way back to where we were down here. Okay, so all this progression to the upside here, we have to obviously talk about this area of 0.00071958 because that area there is a trigger point. This is our trigger for a 5-wave structural trend to the upside. So ultimately things are looking okay. Although this cooling off period here has happened a little bit earlier than expected, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to come back and bounce up and kind of rise from the ashes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we have completed a nice corrective structure. We are looking for a bit of a move to the upside, but do expect some volatility within the hourly chart, but everything else looks like it's going to be heading towards 4.3, oh sorry, I say point, but 43582 on the charts here, and in doing so we should end up with a pretty nice area for cooling off, because I think essentially what we'll end up with is some kind of 3-wave structural move like this maybe, or maybe even that going up much significantly higher. So keeping a close eye on things. We definitely have the momentum strength behind our daily chart, for example, the 8-hourly chart. The 4-hourly chart is looking like it can have an upward move to at least finish this structure before cooling off again. Guys, I'm going to leave this video there. Nice brief technical analysis update on Lunar Classic. If you found it useful, you know what to do. Smash the like button, push it out to more like-minded individuals. If you are new to the channel, make sure you are subscribed and make sure that you also are joining our Discord server in the description below. And of course, we have partnered up with 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 as well. So if that sounds interesting to you, links in the description below. Join us in Discord. There's a lot of different things to talk about when it comes to the Discord server, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏, and many other things. Guys, until the next one, have a fantastic day.